Hey everybody, John Hope Bryant in my home office doing a pop call. It's Thursday night. Is it Thursday night? Yeah, it's Thursday night. John Hope Bryant, founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope, the world's largest nonprofit financial services network for the poor, the struggling class, the teetering class, folks with too much month at the end of their money. Hey, Yolanda Frazier, you're going to love this session tonight. It's going to be quick because I'm going to do a real big session. Everybody mark your calendars tomorrow at 10 a.m. Do a real big session. Hey, Claudia Rivera, I'm doing well. Brian Hope, hey, that's one of my counselors, I think in South Carolina. Cheryl Penny Funches, hello. Lester Gardner used to work with me back in L.A. Hey, man, proud of you. Garcia Guest, good evening. Happy Elvis Dorsey, hello. Helping raise money to rebuild the school. Derek Smart, evening. Top of the evening to Jerry Williams, Sally Ward, good evening. So I'm going to do a big, hey, Frank Jordan from Detroit. Let me know where you guys are calling in and signing in from. Hey, Mr. Hope, that's William Hodge. You do great for people. That's why I love you. I love you back, Claudio. So, look, let me jump into this session. Big reveal tomorrow. Not reveal, big report out on our 25th anniversary of Operation Hope tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please tell your friends to sign in and to sign in for a tune-up and a report card on Operation Hope's work in 25 years. I'll be happy to do that. I'll be on like for about 40 minutes, from 10 to 10:40. And doing a lot of Q&A. So please sign up and sign in and tell your friends to sign up. So again, Operation Hope CEO, founder, Bright Group Ventures, author of the memo, which is coming out in September. I'm going to talk a lot in the memo about relationship capital. But it's a different, like Derek Smith, like the fireplace. Yeah, it is pretty cool. And it's raining outside, so it adds to the vibe. I love it though, because it's very calming. The new book deals a lot with relationship capital. Probably half the book is relationship capital, but it's a different type of relationship capital that I'm going to talk about tonight. I have a relationship series I'm going to do as part of the Civil Rights Straight Talk series on Facebook. Tonight I'm going to talk about a friend of mine called me this morning, and she said that, she's looking good. She's going to the gym all the time. She's slimmed down. Her self-esteem is up. She's got a job with benefits. And this dude she used to date, she would, I guess, accept lower standards for herself for whatever reason. It's her business. I'm not going to get into that. But as her self-esteem came up, as her confidence came up, as her wealth inside of her came up, remember I said there's a difference. Hey, Sally Ward. There's a difference between being broke and being poor. The being broke is an economic situation. Being poor is a disabling frame of mind, a depressed condition of your spirit, and you must vow never, ever, ever to be poor again. Hold your questions for me, by the way. Way to fireplace going, yeah, Yolanda, this is a deep conversation. I'm going to lay this out. Hey, Kelly Romano, my friend from, hey, Beverly Rice, my friend from Florida. I'm going to lay this out, and then I'll answer some questions. So don't ask me any questions just yet. So, self-esteem and confidence is half of poverty. It's also half of wealth. The Hope Doctrine on Poverty, you can pull it up on the internet, just type in the Hope Doctrine on Poverty, it'll come up, print it out, put it on your wall. Half of poverty is low self-esteem and lack of confidence in yourself. If you don't know who you are by 9 in the morning, by dinner time, somebody's going to tell you who you are. And then you have crappy role models and crappy environment. You guys know my next thing I'm going to say. If you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. And then you've got a crappy sense of aspiration, no hope, right? Which leads to crappy opportunity. That's poverty. The opposite of that is wealth. Okay, so this person I know, very smart, extremely smart, but maybe her self-esteem was a little down. Maybe she was willing to accept lower caliber of love and value for herself. I don't know. I'm not going to answer the question for her. Really, I mean, like genius IQ. And she started feeling better about herself, and people started giving her compliments, I guess, and she's like, well, these are compliments I should have given myself a long time ago. I'm good. I'm not settling. Well, this dude that she used to date, which she pointed toward out the door, thank God, a couple years later. He would just never give up. He kept straggling back. You know, they always have regrets, straggling back. And he comes back and he says, now look, you have to marry me. If you don't marry me, I'm going to have to get with this girl in, I don't know, what city it was. First of all, first strike, right? But if you going to tell me, either you going to marry me or go out, you got to go. Bye. You just lost the matriculation exam, as they say in South Africa. You just lost your graduation certificate. And then he said this: if you don't marry me and put me on your health insurance, I'm gonna have to marry this other girl over here because my health is failing. I need health insurance. Now, can you get your mind around this? That this dude actually said this. He said, if you don't marry me and put me on your health insurance, you're watching with your 13-year-old, Jamel Sizon. So it's good. It's a good family conversation. Make sure I keep it straight for your 13-year-old. If you don't marry me, put you on your health insurance, I'm not going to marry this other dude over here. You know, she said, yeah, Armanda says, sad. See you. Exactly. Bye. She said, bye. He couldn't even get the sentence out. Letitia says, the nerve. Sally Ward, wow. Bye. You don't have to go, but you got to get the heck out of here, okay? Let me open the door for you, right? So he was shocked. Like this was something that he expected was just a reasonable conversation. You know, Chris Rock has this great skit, The Prophet Chris Rock. He said, brothers like, I ain't never been to jail. You're not supposed to go to jail. I take care of my kids. You're supposed to take care of your kids, your low expectation having brother, okay? It's like saying, I got a job. You're supposed to have a job, right? I take care of my family. You're supposed to take care of your family. See, this is our problem, right? Low expectations. Benjamin May, who was you guys like that, aren't you? Benjamin May said, what did Beyonce say? To the left, exactly. So Zena Knox, ha ha ha, exactly. It's ha ha ha, provided she made the right choice here. Benjamin May once told, it was the mentor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that the greatest sin was not failure, it's low aim. Write that down. Dr. Benjamin May said this. The greatest sin is not failure, it's low aim. So what would happen if she accepted this mess from this dude? First of all, let me ask you a question. Hey, Leslie Hicks and Lewis Dixon, why would you, Ataya says yes, why would you accept this? What does it say about you? And what is he going to do to you next? Hello. I talk to you and follow you a lot, but I really love to know exactly what is the purpose of hope. Claudio, purpose of hope. Operation Hope, I tell you that tomorrow when I do the 25th anniversary, but the purpose of Operation Hope, it's on the website, is to reintroduce you back to yourself. God made you perfect. God made you full of potential. God made you with fingerprints that he gave nobody else. God made you absolutely a magical, perfect, amazing, life-changing individual, and then the world teaches you anger, hate, fear, tells you what can't, impossible. Take those two words out of your dictionary, tells you what you cannot do, and the world beats you down, beats down your hope, beats down your self-esteem, beats down your aspiration, and you become unlike a child who is idealistic and believes in everything, like the 13-year-old watching with one of our followers tonight, and you really need that childlike belief and faith. That's what I believe I have 25 years after founding Operation Hope, and we simply do that through a financial mechanism which everybody can relate to. Operation Hope uses money and finance and aspiration to encourage you to take your life back. How's that sound? So we're connecting your education in life with your aspiration in your life, moving you from being a survivor to a thriver. I'm going to do a whole video on that, but the short version is, if you're a minority, certainly if you're African American, this video is for everybody, but just so that people who are white can understand minorities and minorities can understand themselves. If you are black in this country and you went through the experience of being African American in this country, you probably have some levels of depression and hopelessness and if you be honest with yourself, and low self-esteem and insecurity and all that kind of stuff. And so we're like PTSD for life. Okay, like some people come back from war and they got it for like they've been there for 2 years, got PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Black folks had it for life. Like you just walk through the ghetto and not get shot, you get PTSD for life. And as a result of that, you become experts at surviving, not thriving. And the world rewards you for thriving. That's a whole other video. I'll do it just as its own capsule. So those who, that's no deep that you follow me. You don't know what Operation Hope does, but thanks for being honest. Like, go to operationhope.org. Please go to operationhope.org and look at the website and check out what Operation Hope does. It's amazing. I'm nothing, right? I'm just a point of contact. Operation Hope itself is transforming lives. We reintroduce you back to your God-given potential to change the world, starting with your own. Okay, so back to this CEO of Gallup who's now emailing me. I love that. Like, whatever time it is at night, CEO of Gallup, a billionaire, is sending me an email. I'll take that. Okay, back to the story. So this young lady said, no, get out of here. Now, some people would say, well, but I want to be lonely. This guy loves me. Okay, does he really love you? He just asked you, he said, I'm only going to marry you, give me health insurance. Does he really love you, or does he really love himself? Actually, he doesn't even love himself, because if he loved himself, he wouldn't be asking this crazy, stupid, selfish question. He is lost. He is hopeless. He has low self-esteem. He has damaged goods, and he wants to damage you too, because hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. So I think it's Rivera who's sitting there. It's not Rivera. Somebody else said they're watching this, looking at with their 13-year-old son. If you tell me your son's name, I will. William Cranston says insecurity, exactly. We teach people how to treat us, raise your level of expectation. That's Zena Knox, exactly. Expect the best. So whoever's sitting with your 13-year-old child, put their name down here. I will mention their name on this broadcast. But what we have told black children is that we've told young black men that you are victims, that you are a victim in society, that you're an endangered species. We believe that. You like that quote, hurt people, William Hodge. Okay, so we believe that, so then we ended up trying to raise our daughters and love our sons. So you end up with a bunch of women and a bunch of punks. Jamel Sazons, Birmingham here, watching you with my 13-year-old son. Okay, Jamel, tell me what your 13-year-old son's name is. I'll give him some love. So I want him to read, I want you to say to him what I just said to you. You've got to raise your son to be a man, not a chump. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, not a chump. Cameron Sazons is his name. This is Jamel Sazons. Okay, so Cameron Sazon, you are the future of all men, and we need you to grow up to model what you want other people to see. Watch how you live your life, and maybe the only Bible anybody else reads. And so in this example, this so-called man was not a man, he was a punk. He's a punk. And as I said, we were convinced that black men were an endangered species. We treated them, pat them on the head. Oh, boy, baby, you're an endangered species. The world's got it out for you. And so we didn't give them any structure. We didn't give them any discipline. We didn't hold them to high standards. We didn't make them treat a child like that you have a child, so now you're a father, not a baby daddy. We didn't say you got to get a job. We didn't say you got to get up early, stay up late, work hard, and hustle. No, we said, no, you're a victim, and allowed them excuse to have a different rule. So now you have 70% of black women going to HBCUs. I'm sorry to rephrase that. 70% of HBCUs filled with black women. And you got women who are really emotionally stronger in many ways because they've been forced to have higher standards because they knew the world was not going to treat them fairly. So now we raised our daughters and loved our sons. And 20 years later, 30 years later, you end up with women and punks. I'm not saying all men, of course. I'm sure that there are, in this broadcast, tons of black men who've done it right, including the man who's got his son here. I'm just saying, in this example, the young lady I'm talking about has one of these little punks masquerading as a man, asking her for health insurance. What man would do that? Let me tell you something. If I don't like me, I'm not going to like you. If I don't feel good about me, I'm not going to feel good about you. If I don't respect me, don't expect me to respect you. If I don't love me, I don't have a clue how to love you. Black men don't defend our women. I'm not going to get into that. That's an opinion. I think a lot of men don't defend their women. A lot of men beat their women. And a lot of women stay with abusive men because of financial dependency. Because they feel dependent upon that man. Men who are abusive on women, they stay in that abusive relationship because they feel that if they don't, that their lives and their children's lives will be at some financial risk. Again, if it ain't about God and love, it comes to be down to being about money. I cannot stress enough how you guys have got to get the memo so you can set yourself free. So yes, a lot of men, white men, Latino men, Asian men, Indian men, all around the country abusing their women are not treating them with love and respect and intelligence, right? But that's, that's what insecure people do. So if I don't have a purpose in my life, I'm going to make your life a living hell. Okay? You can accuse me of a lot of things, but not taking care of my responsibilities is not one of them. You can accuse me of a lot of things, but not providing a safe and secure environment for those I love is not one of the things you can accuse me of. You can accuse me of a lot of things, but not keeping my promises is not one of them. You can accuse me of a lot of things, but not making sure that making sure that you're not safe and secure, or making sure that you are safe and secure is not one of the things that you can accuse me of. And so you've got to, if you're going to step up in this world, you got to step up with excellence. But hurt people hurt people. If I don't like me, I'm not going to like you. And that is why this woman, who I highly admire, respect, and love, she's like family to me. I've known her for a long time. That's why it was no question she had to reject this dude, even though she loves him. And she had to set him free to go find his whatever. And she knew where he was going. She's like, go, please. If she's going to take you, please go. To quote my mentor, one of my mentors, I have three of them in life, Quincy Jones, Ambassador Andrew Young, and Reverend Dr. Cecil Chip Murray in L.A., and then a sort of two honorary mentors was the late Dr. Dorothy Height, and Ambassador Suguru Yuzawa from Japan. But Quincy Jones told me, John, the only thing worse than being alone is wishing that you were. Okay? Please write that down. Zena Knox says, my daddy said to embrace a man who prays for and with me, not who preys on me. Dang! That's what I'm talking about. You're like just watching body language and inviting friends, dining right now. That's Yolanda Frazier. Zena Knox, yes, release the leeches. Exactly, Zena. You can do battle all by yourself. You do not need help. And misery does love company. And when the conversation is like what I just said becomes normal, you're living in depression. When somebody says, when somebody's living in your house, not paying you no rent, whether it's let's take this example. You're a woman, you're bringing on all the money. Your so-called man is not paying rent, not trying to get a job, not paying a utility bill, not paying a car note, not taking your kid to school, not helping you with the dishes, bossing you around, not helping with household duties, expects you to cook, clean, all that stuff, pay all the bills, go to work, take care of the kids, and he's supposed to sit there with his feet up and be the so-called king in your kingdom when you paying the property taxes? I don't think so. Now, I hope that doesn't describe any situation or anybody who's looking at this right now, but we all know somebody for whom this does fit perfectly. Hey, Petro Jones, good morning. So, video not streaming. Harriet, I don't know why. Everybody else seems to be seeing it just fine. And I can tell when I have a weak signal, it actually is actually pretty decent right now. I've been working on my internet connection thanks to my IT guy. Huge security in the house, but luckily the video frozen. Oh, well, it's cool on this side, so I think watch it on replay. So my first message is you've got to learn to love yourself first. Am I a drinker? Devona DeVete. I'm not a drinker, but I'm not quite sure what the question. Why are you asking me that I drink? I mean, what's the relevancy? I mean, I take some wine every now and then, but I like being in my right mind. So no, I'm not. I don't drink hard liquor. If I drink a half a glass of wine, I'll be toasted. So I love being sober. I love being sober. I'm hooked on life. I'm hooked on. I don't want to be drunk. I don't have drugs in my system. I'm just hooked on life, and I think an addiction is basically an emotion you can't handle. Any addiction is an emotion you can't handle. I'm sorry. Any addiction is in response to an emotion you can't handle. Most things in moderation are actually healthy for you. Drugs in moderation are prescribed. Alcohol in moderation will lower your blood pressure. Most things in moderation are good, but things that are to an obsessive level are actually bad for you. And if somebody has low self-esteem in your life and they got a hole in the bottom of their emotional, intellectual, spiritual cup, they're unhealed, and you keep pouring into that cup, guess what's happening? they're not getting any better, and you're getting worse. You're depleting yourself, and they aren't getting any better. It's like a double negative. The cup has a hole in it. They need to cap the hole. So if a brother's sitting in your house doing absolutely nothing to help their life, and say they can't get a job or really haven't looked for one in 6 months, and you are doing everything, you are actually hurting that brother and not helping them. And you certainly aren't helping you. And you have also sent a signal about your value to society. Now you can flip that script also. If you're a brother and you're doing everything, you're raising the kids, you're taking the kids to school, you're making the dinner, you're cooking food, because this goes both ways. And your woman is doing nothing but sitting there being a princess, whatever that means, and she don't want to get her nails done, she don't want to cook, she don't want to clean, she don't want to help with the kids, she don't want to get a job, she just complains. She's your chief criticism officer, she's your chief negativity officer. All she can talk about is what you're not doing and how you're not doing it. Brother, she don't got to go, but she got to get the heck out of here. And again, I'm going to quote my brother Quincy Jones, the only thing worse than being alone is wishing that you were. Quincy once told somebody who, it's sort of the time was sort of over in the relationship. It had run its course, and so she was really out, but she was still there. She didn't know she was gone, but she was still there. Sort of overstaying her welcome, and she asked another question. He said, "Baby, when you pick up the phone, there's nobody on the other end. That's me calling." And he wasn't trying to be cruel. He's just trying to say, look, this is over. I love you, but you really need to go find somebody else, because this is not what I'm interested in. And you've got to have enough courage in your life to say, let the doorknob hit you where the dog should have bit you. Please say goodbye on the way out, but this is just not acceptable for me. You don't have to judge anybody. You just have to say that I have minimal standards. And somebody saying that I want to marry you for health care should be sort of below everybody's minimal standards. So the question is, what kind of human capital do you have? Are you hooked up with somebody because they're paying your car note? Let's have some real conversation now. Are you hooked up with somebody because they're paying your rent? I'm single and very happy. Jessica Smith. Too many of our men have fallen to the state of mind. That's Mrs. Tamika. Are you with somebody because they're paying your rent? Are you with somebody because they're helping you pay and have your mortgage payment? Are you with somebody because they're paying your car note? Are you with somebody, here's a really bad one, because you're lonely? There is a difference between being alone and being lonely. There's a difference between, look, I love my own company. That's part of the reason I don't drink and I don't do drugs. I got all these books around here. I don't know what bored. I don't know what bored it means. When somebody says they're bored, I have no idea. My problem is I don't have enough time in the day to get everything done. I'm like trying to go to bed, like force myself to go to bed at 2, 3 in the morning and get 6 hours of sleep so I can function the next day, because I'm so passionate about my life. I'm so passionate about everything I'm doing. The Bible says, be hot or be cold. If you're lukewarm, I'll spat you out. Translation, even God is not like mediocrity. I'm going to repeat that. The Bible suggests be hot or be cold. Be hot or be cold, but if you're lukewarm, I'll spat you out. Translation, even God does not like mediocrity. With my wife for 27 years, Ben McGee, fantastic. Jerry Williams, amen. So me and my husband, we help each other. That's Cheryl Funches, fantastic. And look, it takes more than love. It takes a decision. Right? You got to decide you want to be together. I'm going to do a whole video on 120% life. I did one a little bit a few weeks ago talking about my own manifesto. You should go back and watch that video, my own personal manifesto. But you got to decide what your mission center is, and my mission center is you. My family is you. My mission center. I have 2 billion children in the world, children without role models and help and support. And my mission center is Operation Hope, and that's what I think God put me here to do. That's my. If I'm gonna have a legacy, that's it. Now other things may come, but I've decided. Sorry, it was decided for me. I'm cooperating that's my mission, and I will not settle. I simply will not settle. My assistant Sharmila says that you are unselfish about everything that you do. She's one of the most unselfish people I've ever met in my life, until it comes to your mission, and you're extremely selfish. And I'm suggesting to you to become extremely selfish about the central mission of your life. if you don't love yourself, nobody else will. If you don't respect yourself, no one else will. If you don't like yourself, no one else will. Because whatever goes around, hello, comes around. You're going to get what you have to give. If you're only offering 20%, the work's going to give you 20%. If you're only 30% vulnerable, you only get 30% vulnerability back to you. If you don't know how to give love, then you cannot get love. And if you are treating your relationship like a financial transaction, guess how you're going to be treated in response. So fair exchange is no robbery. So this lady did the guy a favor by releasing him, and she certainly did herself a favor. And you can win the battle and lose the war. And in other words, she could have said yes to the dude and not been lonely, but the rest of her, and then God forbid she have children. Now it's a disaster because now the children have a crappy idea for a man as a role model. And now you got 10 years of your life, or worse, 20, 30 years wasted because you were afraid that you didn't want to be alone. I tell people all along, it's okay if you don't like me. I like me. I can do bad all by myself. I do not need help, and neither do you. So part of wealth building is this conversation you must have with yourself. You're not hating on nobody else. You're not judging anybody else. It's a conversation that you have you have to reclaim your democracy every day. You got to reclaim your dignity every day. You got to reclaim your somebodyness every day. You got to reclaim your life and stand for something called your values and your human dignity every day. As they say in South Africa, Ubuntu. Ubuntu. I am me because you are you. Okay. So let me. She did herself a bigger favor by releasing him. Zena Knox said, "Okay, let me go to some questions here. All right, questions, comments, thoughts. Let me try to. Sally Ward, you're a blessing. Thank you very much. Back to you, Shannon. Amen. 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 I work on either physical work on my mind and sleep for 5 hours. It's Claudio Rivera. I work on either physical work or my mind and." I don't really understand that question. I'm sorry, Claudia. You may have to restate it for me. Takes 24 hours a day to mind your business. You can't afford to waste time. William Cranston. I agree on that. I hope you didn't think Quincy was being harsh in the comments I made. I agree with him 100%. The flight attendant will tell you when the plane is going down, put the oxygen mask on your face first and then your child, because if you can't save you, you can't save them, right? Charity starts at home. What does your cert say? Chamonix. It's a little French town. I'll tell you a little story about this. It says Mont Blanc also, but Chamonix is a little town in France where I spoke at last year. A bunch of thought leaders. So I'm going to tell you a little funny story about my relationship with the world. So I wasn't always so-called worldly. I've been to 100 countries, but and Bash Young has me beat. He's been to 150 plus countries. I was with him earlier tonight, my hero. But, there was a time where I just started traveling. I was a little naive, and I wasn't, I've never been ashamed to admit stupid things. So I'm just telling you this funny little story because you asked me to share. So I was a UN ambassador, United States ambassador to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. I was, 20-something years old. And so I'll make a long story short. I go to Geneva, Switzerland, and I hope you guys get this joke. If you don't, it's really sad for you and for me. And so the head of the ambassador's delegation was a French ambassador. And so he has a reception for me, all the ambassadors, and Ambassador John Bryant, we're happy to have you here. And they take me to this park next to the Lake Geneva, and they call it Lake Geneva. And he says, this is a Mont Blanc. This talks about this mountain. This is a Mont Blanc up here. And I said, oh my God, they named the mountain after the pen? If you don't get that, if you don't think that that's hilarious, then you need to pick up a map, because I needed to pick up a map. No, they named the pen after the mountain. And if you don't know what the pen is a very expensive writing instrument called Mont Blanc. Okay, so that's what Chamonix is. Ben McGee, laugh out loud. Exactly, because I was stupid. Claudio, meant to say is I love myself and so into what I do based on your conversation. Sorry for the confusion. Yeah. If you don't love yourself first, you can't love anybody else. You can't expect anybody to love you. You don't value yourself. You don't appreciate yourself. Then how can you expect anybody else to appreciate you? One of my greatest honors was meeting and having lunch with John O'Brien. Oh, that's very sweet. Who is that? Let me see here. Lewis Dixon. This dude is really a blessing. I don't know when we had lunch, but thank you. All right. So Audrey says funny. It was funny, but it was true, Audrey. I actually said that. The ambassador was, I'm sure the ambassador was like, is this the best that America can bring to the world? Wrong accent, that was a German accent. Reverse the image so we can read it. How can I reverse the image? We take the shirt off and turn it upside down? It's the camera. It says show on there. Okay, that's James Nelson. Enjoy hearing wisdom hard to find, Pamela Rogers. So this is the Civil Rights series, by the way. Are you running for president in 2020? Rohan One Love. No, I am not. I'm not. But let me tell you what. I think this is more interesting. I think that if you think about who changed the world, it wasn't presidents or mayors or governors. It's God's children who realized that they were average individual with extraordinary determination. Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Gandhi. The list goes on and on and on. The people who changed the world did not hold public office. Even Mandela, being president in South Africa, was almost incidental to the fact that he was already this global force. I want to finish the work of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass of the Freedmen's Bank of 1865. We will. I want to pick up the mantle where Dr. King and my mentor Andrew Young took off with the Poor People's Campaign of 1968. I have no interest in public office whatsoever. I want to build Operation Hope as a global platform for financial empowerment. We're going to become the Starbucks of financial literacy. You'll hear tomorrow at 10 a.m. when I give her a 25-year report card. Tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that we are going to build the Starbucks of financial inclusion, community by community, and raise credit scores to 700. Because nothing changes your life more than God or love than moving your credit score 120 points. And when we do that, your self-esteem rises, your confidence rises, your belief in yourself rises. We create homeowners, entrepreneurs, small business owners, folks who want to take their life back. We're going to move you from the streets to the suites and give you a hand up and not a handout and treat you like the dignity-rich builder that I know you have the capacity to be. If we do that at scale, with 1,000 locations across this country, we'll be 100 times will be 10 times larger than the biggest nonprofits in this country serving our community, and we're going to do it sustainably. We're going to do it without focusing on partisan politics or even race, and we're going to give you a chance to prove that you are enough all by yourself. And I think if we do that for a generation, then that's my legacy, right? And we help 50 to 100 million people in America, and by extension, inspire 1 billion people around the world to redefine themselves in a generation and take their lives back. Just imagine how that changes the world, how that can change your world. And that's enough for me. So I know I have no interest in running for president. But we've been honored by the last 5 presidents, and recognized by the last 5, and I've served the last 3. And, my goal is to do work so amazing, they got to come to me, okay? With all due respect. I'm not trying to go to the White House reception. I'm not trying to hang out at the White House or wherever else, or wherever it is. I could care less. I'm interested in hanging out with you. And I'm more interested in somebody in the grocery store telling me, you changed my life, my kid is an entrepreneur because of you, or going to the airport and have somebody say my credit score is 699 and it was 550, and see the self-esteem and the dignity rise. Seeing you guys sort of get the memo. That's my next book, September 2017, the best book I've ever written. I think it's going to be a game changer. We got to get the memo. I want to do that at scale. That's my goal. What's your opinion of Bitcoin? Do you invest? I do not invest in Bitcoin, but I don't have an opinion about it. Veronica Limit. I met a guy. He already had a home in which he was part paying a mortgage. I moved in, and I have a full-time job that pays well. I made the house comfortable. I redecorated and furnished it, the house, out of my pocket, because even though my name wasn't on the mortgage, I believed in living comfortable in the house. I cooked. Okay, that was a long note, so I can't read the rest of it. You may have to do the rest of that note, Veronica. I hope you're not going to tell me that he disrespected you after you did all that energy in the house. Thanks for your knowledge and inspiration. Thank you. That's Petro Jones. Jerry Williams, thank you for being yourself, my friend. Only way I know how to be. Come at you straight, no chaser. This is transparent. I mean, I hope you can tell. I'm just being myself. We need to help each other, help ourselves. Calvin Warner, exactly. John, I was asked if I am on your payroll. Zena Knox, I tell everybody about you. I love you too, Zena. And maybe you should be in my payroll. We're hiring. You do an awesome job just where you are. Keep it going, John. Kat Gareen Turner, thank you very much. This movement with this Facebook community is really growing. I mean, I was out at an event with Andrew Young tonight, like 4 people walked up to me and hey, I saw you on Facebook, and have a photo and so on and so forth. 28 million viewers in 1 year, right? So just imagine if this keeps growing, and there's 230,000 likes, follows on the page. We can get the likes up to 500,000, views up to 100 million. Just imagine the ripple effect that this could have of changing the way people think about themselves. You don't have to be ashamed. You can sit there in your comfortableness of your house or your car or wherever and listen to this and not have to feel judged by anybody. And this is just a radical movement of common sense, folks. I'm not saying anything magical. Everything I say is just a radical movement of common sense. But somebody has to risk not being liked. We are too obsessed with being liked. Our so-called leaders, many of them, are telling you what you need, what you want to hear, or what they think you want to hear versus what you need to hear, and they're doing more talking than they are doing. And I tell people all the time, I like what I'm doing much better than what you're not doing. Okay? How many homeowners have you created? How many small business owners have you created? How many kids have you taught financial literacy to, right? I mean, so if somebody wants to run their mouth, the first thing I say is, what have you done for somebody else other than yourself? If you haven't done anybody else, step. Just like the young lady with the guy who wants to be on her health insurance. Step. To argue with a fool proves there are two. So I'm going to leave you with a quote. Social media has changed the game, but we have to use it wisely and smartly. Ben, exactly. What are you hiring for, Claudio? We have a whole list of positions we're hiring for on operationhope.org, so go check that out. I was going to give you a quote just got me off my game. I was going to give you a parting quote to take away. Oh, Reverend Murray. It's not what people call you, it's what you answer to that's important, and never answer out of your name. And then I added to argue with a fool proves there are two. I'm going to repeat that. Reverend Dr. Cecil Chip Murray, who helped us to really stop the Rodney King riots in 1992. My mentor, former pastor of First AB Church, is an amazing man. Please write this down. Please put it on your wall. It's not what people call you. It's what you answer to that's important. And never, ever, ever answer out of your name. And then I added, to argue with a fool proves there are two. So I refuse to engage with you or anybody with a ridiculous conversation. You want to hate on me? That just proves that you hate yourself. You want to spend time talking negatively about whatever? That just proves that you don't have a vision for your own life. Because positive people don't talk about anything but positive things. They're so busy doing good things, they don't have any time for negative talk. You got to figure out what you're for, not just become an expert in what you are against. What kind of relationship capital do you have in your life? This is the question. What kind of relationship capital do you have in your life? And understand this one. I'm gonna drop the mic on this. If we're not a human being having a spiritual experience, I put this in my next book, the memo. It's a French philosopher said this. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Audrey says, thank you for always keeping it real. I try. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings, having a human experience. So energy matters. So let me ask you this question. I'm asking this question for you to challenge yourself. Is it possible that at least half of disease is dis-ease? Boom. Is it possible that half of disease is dis-ease? If you go in the hospital thinking negatively, I'm never going to get out of here. These doctors are going to make a mistake. These folks don't mean me no good. I don't deserve to live or whatever. You've just reduced your chances of surviving that surgery by at least 50%. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're absolutely right. Yolanda Frazier, let me see, what'd you say? I'm stuck up. They say I'm stuck up, but I'm not. I'm friendly. Yolanda, you're not stuck up. I met you. You're very pleasant. You just sort of know what you want. You got standards, and you're not going to deal with any mess. And if they have a problem with that, then they have a problem with themselves. Don't make their mess your problem. Again, step over mess, not in it. You can do bad all by yourself. Learn to love yourself. And I tell you something, I'd rather you respect me and learn to like me than like me and never respect me. Mic drop. I'm out. Love you. I got stuff to do, and so do you. Yes, it's possible. Dis-ease. Exactly, Zena Knox. Dis-ease. That is how you see yourself and how you feel about yourself can infect yourself with disease and sickness. And if you just change that and become full of love, joy, and happiness, it's very few things that can penetrate that, because the only self-renewing energy in the world is love. I love you. I'm out. This is a civil rights movement, from civil rights to silver rights, from the fields to the factories, from the streets to the suites. It's not about white, red, black, white, yellow, or brown. It's about having some more green It's about the new civil rights movement, and I'm coming to you straight and no chaser with only love and support for your uplift. This is Operation Hope, and I'm a mirror reflecting on you. Take your life back today. Bye.